Hi everyone, back to Python for loops. Now, part 2. So this is the assignment from this week, right? So Python for loops part 2 has this. So define a function dice n that returns the sum of a random roll of n six-sided dice. So that means that n is the number of times that you rolled the dice. So for dice, open parentheses 5, close parentheses, roll with 16 means that you rolled a die 5 times and you added up the sum of each roll. And in this case, it was 16. So here's some useful code. Import random.randint 1 to 6, range, and define dice. So if it's useful, okay, let's put it into our repellent. And so here, what we always do, and for Python to work properly, regardless of what version of Python you're running, either 2.7 or 3 and above, you're supposed to declare your import statements up top. So here I have import random, and so from previous assignments we've used the rand integer function. So just for a little review here, I'm going to import random. So I need to load this into memory. So now random dot rand int 1 to 10 is a random integer for 1 to 10, but for a dice, of course, it would be 1 to 6. So we basically want to make use of that function to be able to roll a dice. And so here I have this range n to help us. So in the assignment, it says that you're going to roll it n times. And so the input or argument n is going to be the number of times you rolled it. So range n is going to be helpful because range, if you remember from last time, when I do range 0, 4, right? I have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Or if I also wanted to get the same output, I could just do that. So range 4 means that I will have 4 items in a list. And from our assignment here, the code inside for a for loop occurs once for each element in the iterable. So remember, iterations is every time a loop processes or goes through. So I strongly recommend when using loops, you use print statements to kind of know what's going on. So for element in iterable. So why learn about range earlier in the assignment unless we're going to use it for your on your own function? So let's make use of range. So earlier in the assignments, these ranges had specific things like outputting which day of September or things like that. Like here in numbers, we had a defined set and list, and for each one you did something. So we just need a for loop. Well, this is what we know for loops, to add up a roll however many times we need. So we're just going to invent a dummy variable, once again, that will keep track of sums, and we're going to want to output that sum at the end. So we're going to have to add to a variable. So what I mean is, so we're going to make use of this. We're going to make use of the range n. But here, to start our function, we're going to start it at line 2. Cool. Define dice. And now I have a colon because that's how you use colons at the end of defines, ifs, fors, everything. So define dice. Okay. So I want to roll the equal random.randint. So this is going to be my roll. I haven't used this range yet. So guess what? Using the comment code, I'm just going to get rid of it. Okay, so I have a roll, and let's print the roll. Cool. And you can return it, you can print it. So here I'm going to run, cool. And in this case, dice, I have to put something in for n. Am I using n at all? No. So I'm just going to put 1 in, and I got a roll of 5. Okay? Does that number make sense? Well, it's between 1 to 6. Cool. Let's try it again. 4. Try it again. 4. Right? And so that's perfectly reasonable. Okay, so now how are we going to make use of n? N is going to be the number of times that we roll the dice, but we're not quite there yet. So yes, to roll multiple times, you need to have a for loop or some type of loop to iterate. So if we're going to keep track of some sum, we're going to have to call it our total. Okay, so why don't we have two things here. Let's just get the for loop to work. Okay, so we want to keep that roll inside of our for loop. So for, let's make a variable, for I in range n. So this is what my thing is. I is going to be each time you roll. And in range n is going to be, if I roll it once, range 1, which I'll write here, range 1 is one thing, 0. Range 2 has two things, okay? So if I put in dice 2, then it would be range 2, and it would be 0 and 1. If I wanted to make use of 0 and 1 in some way, I would use I, but I is just some dummy variable we may or may not use, okay? So right here I have this red, means I need to put a colon in, okay? This roll needs to move, okay? And this print roll I'm going to put inside our loop. Okay, let's see what happens. So define dice. Okay, so dice 2. I got a 3 and a 2. Excellent. I am basically there. If you can understand why that works, just to roll it twice, I feel good about it. I feel good about your understanding of just what a loop is. Okay, let's try it a couple times. Dice 1, cool. If I do it 10 times, yes. Now I got to add it. Okay, so let's keep track of a total. I wonder what a good variable name would be called. Total. Okay, total equals 0. Okay, we're going to call that initializing. Initialize total. Okay, so at that point, I've given you a dummy variable called total. I need you to add roll to that total, and I've already used our range n. So I've taken you like to the 20-yard line. See if you can finish it up here. So I will go ahead and put this dice help into your assignment or into the assignment for you to use. Good luck. Let me know if you need any help.